very first episode of Non-Stop Vinyl Rock Talk. I am your host, Tyson Bryden. Before I introduce our first guest, I want to explain the premise of what can be termed as an offshoot of Non-Stop Rock Talk. The bottom line is this: I'm a huge fan of vinyl records. Personally, I think it's the truest form of music being brought to the masses. Nothing beats the warm sound of vinyl. So I thought to myself, how do I bring the passion to the fan base? I love talking vinyl. I love the background of records and how they came to be. I think it's a good forum to discuss the passion. So moving forward, every guest on this show will somehow be a seller, collector, as well as a musician who loves talking vinyl. This won't be a show about MP3s and CDs. It's primarily vinyl. Of course, the guests may be musicians, and this will be a way to promote them as well. So we'll talk about that and include their music as well. It's kind of a way of killing two birds with one stone. Anyways, enough of that. It's time to introduce our very first guest. Today, I am happy to welcome Nathan Yetter. Nathan, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm very well, thank you, on this beautiful Saturday morning in Canada. It's an awesome day. I see you're in the garage and the garage door is open.
Yep, I'm in my metal Keller records.
Yes, awesome. So before we dive into some vinyl, give me a little bit about your background, possibly musically as well as within the vinyl community.
Well, I guess I started buying records when I was 13. My first record was Kiss Dynasty. I'm a big Kiss fan, big Guns N' Roses fan, Motley Crue fan, and I've always bought vinyl through the years. Maybe not as much in the 90s, but
like all of us.
I still have them, and I never got rid of my vinyl. The biggest thing I used to buy when I was a teenager is Kiss records, and I'd always go hunting for them because it was cheaper to buy them at a bookstore than going to the actual Sam the Record Man.
That's cool. That's cool. I remember going to, in the 90s and early 2000s, going to garage sales, and in the States and in Canada. And it's funny, I had Andy Curran on it, and I pulled out the first album, and I said, Andy, this is really funny because this first album, I think I got it at a garage sale for $2. And he laughed. He goes, isn't that crazy? He goes, now here we are fast forwarding, and that, back then it was easy to buy these vinyls really cheap, and now the prices have gone, way higher than what they were then. Especially the metal and hair metal. Everybody wants. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like that Van Halen album you had, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, that went for $150. Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. And 20 years ago, you couldn't give it away. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure there were collectors of vinyl that wanted it, but it's kind of come full circle.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I only really like the David Lee Roth era. Right. I do like the Sammy Hagar era, but I find it too top 40-ish.
Right.
So for me, my collection is just basically David Lee Roth with maybe one Sammy Hagar record.
Yeah, which would be, what, 5150?
Yeah, 5150. Yeah.
I have 5150, and I have 2 copies of OU812. And For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge is kind of like that holy grail one for me as well. So
it is. I have the other one.
Balance,
but I have the unofficial copy from Roland Records.
Oh, I didn't.
But it sounds amazing. It's
really.
You wouldn't know it's Roland Records has unofficial presses, and they sound amazing.
That's great. I wonder what they get them from. Do they get them from the masters?
I don't know.
I mean, if it's unofficial.
If they're coming from CDs, they still sound amazing.
Wow.
I know a lot. I think a lot of them are from Europe. I even have a whole unofficial copy, and if someone didn't tell me it was unofficial, I wouldn't even know.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Now, I have a copy of Wild Side, Under the Influence, from China. And
I heard that's the only actual vinyl from Svengali.
Is from China?
Well, that's the single, right? But the whole album's never been released on vinyl.
Right. Yeah, no, this is Wild Side. The album's called Under the Influence.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Svengali.
No, I was talking about Wild Side. Under the Influence is a song by Svengali, but Wild Side, Under the Influence is this Chinese copy, and I think it's the only pressing the only place where there was a pressing was in China.
Oh, I see. Probably, yeah.
And I will say it sounds good, but it's a little bit lower than most. So it's but I mean, I've had it for probably 15, 20 years. I got it on eBay. When records were easy to buy on eBay, you usually paid more for shipping than you did for the vinyl.
Well, actually, the first thing I bought on eBay was back in, I think, 2000 or 2001. Mm-hmm. And that was back when you had to send a money order to the person, or you couldn't pay by PayPal or anything. First thing I bought was Love Gun, a mint copy with the gun and the order form. Right. The gun was unpunched. I still have it.
That's cool.
And I remember there was no picture on the ad, and I just took a chance and I bought it, and a month later I got it and I was happy. That's
cool. And it was in good condition?
Oh yeah, I still have it. Yeah, the gun's unpunched.
Wow. And the record itself sounded great?
Oh, yeah, it was mint.
Wow, that's amazing. I always find that amazing when something, especially things from the 70s, are still in mint condition. Because obviously someone's taking care of it, and it meant a lot to them. Well, you got to think, back when I bought it, it was only 23 years old. Now it's 43 years old. Yeah, that's a good point, right? You don't even think about that. So I want to talk about, before we get into the Motley Crue Leather Records pressing it Too Fast for Love, a couple interesting things yesterday came out, a couple reissues. The first one being Tuff's What Comes Around Goes Around. Apparently Steve Rochelle, who's a singer in Tuff, got back, I guess, the rights to press the album on vinyl, and they're going to do a reissue CD as well. I think that was one that on Discogs it was very expensive and very hard to find, so it's kind of cool that they're redoing that. They're doing a black copy, white copy, and a purple on the vinyl itself. It's only for sale, it looks like, on the toughcds.com site. I think I ordered it. It ended up costing $72 with shipping and the exchange.
And if you get charged duty.
If you get charged duty, which ticks you off. But a lot of times I don't get charged duty. I don't know about you. I think it's like 1 in every 20 or 30 albums I get.
Well, I get, if I order from Japan, they always send DHL, and you always get the duty charge, which isn't that bad, because, I order 5 or 6 records from Japan.
Right.
And they pay like, $30 duty.
Yeah.
But then I order from Roland Records, and I always get charged duty. I think 1 or 2 times I didn't actually get charged duty, which was amazing. But
wow, I just got the End Machine Phase 2, and it came DHL, and it was late, so I phoned them. Well, I got a hold of the company that I bought it from, and I said, listen, this hasn't come. I got confirmation 2-3 weeks ago that it was shipped out, and it was from the States. So it turned out that DHL had came here, no one was home, and then the company I bought it from put the wrong phone number on it. It wasn't even my phone number, it was some other phone number. So it was almost on its way back to the States, and luckily I looked into it. Well, sure enough, there was a $24 duty charge on it. But it is what it is, right?
I remember when I ordered the Too Fast for Love reissue in 2005 from the Motley Crue website. They delivered it DHL. That was my first DHL purchase.
Was it?
Or not DHL purchase, but DHL delivery.
Yeah.
And I go back in time. I wish I could order 10 of those 2005 reissues of Too Fast for Love.
Yes, I know.
They go over $300 now on eBay.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I wish I had ordered more than one as well. Because my copy I've never played.
Oh, really? I play mine all the time.
Yeah, and it's funny.
You ordered it from the Motley Crue website?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Don't you wish you bought like 10 of them at the time?
I do, and just had a stack of them and kept them and be able to keep them forever.
Or individually sell one when you need $300.
Yeah, exactly. It's like John Corabi, the '94 live album. That's expensive now. I mean, I bought that.
Well, I saw that concert. I went to Weedsport, New York in 1994 and saw the Motley Crue concert.
Oh, wow.
And I actually got Mick Myers' guitar pick. He threw his pick out towards me, and I grabbed it.
That's cool. I don't have any Motley Crue picks.
I bought the Karabi album, the original copy from the UK, and I paid $400, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I don't have one. The only thing I have...
Well, they get the reissue. They get the unofficial copy.
Oh, is there? The only thing I have is this, which is the Hooligans Holiday limited 12-inch with a sticker.
Yeah. There's also a 7-inch too. I got the 7-inch.
Is there? I still have the sticker.
Nice.
Yeah, John Karabi actually signed it for me. It's number 6,239.
Very nice.
It doesn't sound that good, though. I have to admit, no. No, it really doesn't.
The 7-inch, I don't think I actually put it on because I always just listen to the record.
Yeah.
So, but Rollin' Records released a bootleg of it, and it sounds amazing.
Really? How much does that go for?
Well, if you buy it off their site, I think it's like $35 American, maybe.
Oh, well, okay.
But it's always out of stock.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got to get a copy of that. Now, I have to ask, you had a copy of Slash's Snake Pit on vinyl. Where did that come from?
Rollin' Records.
Really?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Because, I mean, like I mentioned to you the other day, I had Gilby Clark on the show the other day on my other show, I guess you'd call it now. And we were talking, I said, the guy I buy records from, he had a copy of Slash's Snake Pit, and he knew nothing of it. And the funny thing was, the Pawn Shop Guitars reissue, he had to go out and buy a copy. Like he said, he didn't...
Well, I think it originally came out on vinyl, but it wasn't...
No, he said it didn't. He said they mastered it, and it never came out. But maybe it did. Maybe it came out in Europe.
I've seen them on eBay, and it's official copies as far as I know.
Okay.
The Rollin' Records version, the inner sleeves are different.
Really, eh? Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, the Rollin' Records version of the Karabi album actually has a picture of Vince Neil on it.
No.
Yeah, it has Karabi in one picture, and it has Vince Neil in the other. I don't know if they did that on purpose just to keep it different from the original.
Yeah. Well, maybe they did. I mean, another one I would love to get is Exposed on vinyl. Vince Neil's first solo album.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That's a good album.
That's a great album. I mean, I have always loved that album because it was kind of like, Vince came back in full force, and the songs were amazing, right?
Well, yeah, You're Invited But Your Friend Can't Come, that song kicks ass.
Oh, it does, and then Sister of Pain, and then everything else that's on it. I saw him with Van Halen on July 1st, I guess it'd be 1993, at Molson Park in Barrie.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the best I've ever heard him sing. Like, he was on fire. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, he did sing good at one time.
Yeah. No, we're not going to go into that.
Hey, as long as Tommy plays good drums, Mick plays good guitar, Vince can half-ass sing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So now the other reissue I wanted to mention, and this one I thought was really cool. It showed up on Blas Elias's feed last night, and it is Slaughter's third album, Fear No Evil, which was initially going to be released on Capitol Chrysalis, and they lost the deal, and then it came out on CMC Records, which was kind of independent. But the cool thing is, the first one is a 2LP gatefold set in red, which looks really cool. And that's for, how much was that? $45.98 American.
Is it on Amazon?
No, it's on Kiss My Wax Records, is who is selling it. And it's going to become available today, apparently. Now, there's another limited edition, only to 500 copies, which I was really intrigued by. So, more or less, I'm going to give the rundown on it. Slaughter's 1995 record presented on vinyl for the first time ever. Audio taken from the band's original analog masters. 245 RPM half-speed mastered LPs, which is kind of cool. Mastered specifically for vinyl. And then this box set comes with 9 rare or never before heard bonus tracks and demos taken from the band's archives. And that album is on 33 RPM. So in all, the set contents are 3 LPs, Fear No Evil on 2 LPs, plus the bonus record. A 48-page book containing unseen images and band photos, 5 glossy photos, each set hand-numbered, 500 pieces, replica backstage pass, record jacket signed by all 3 surviving members, housed in a custom box. And then one box will contain a golden Spend My Life with Slaughter ticket, giving the recipient a lifetime pass to see the band. And that one is $145.98 American. Pre-order.
Really? So you can see them live anytime with that ticket?
Yeah, but there's only one of them.
Oh.
Yeah, there's only one. So of those 500 box sets, one person gets it. And when I first read it, I thought, oh, everybody gets that. But no, it's just one person. So Kiss My Wax, I guess it's in conjunction with BMG. So that's kissmywaxrecords.com. For those interested in that Slaughter album.
I'll have to definitely check that out.
I'm going to order it for sure.
Another re-release that I'm looking forward to is Kiss are re-releasing soundboard recordings.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
Right now, I pre-ordered it on Amazon. It's Kiss soundboard. It's 3 LPs, and it's the 2001 concert. Basically, the last concert with Ace Frehley, with Eric Singer playing drums, which will, that'll be an interesting listen.
Yeah.
And it's already for pre-sale on Amazon, so it'd be interesting what Gene's going to release, because you never know. All those unofficial bootlegs might actually be official eventually, called soundboard recordings.
That's cool.
But it's funny. The first one they release is Ace Frehley, because that sells, right?
It totally sells.
If it was 2003
with Tommy Thayer,
yeah, no one would care.
No.
But they have to release the last Ace Frehley, one of the last Ace Frehley shows, which would be cool.
I mean, let's be honest, Ace still sells for Kiss because there are so many Ace fans. I mean, I'm a huge Ace fan.
Me too. I think, I'm not a big fan of Sonic Boom or Monster.
Me neither.
I like the 2 main songs on it, like Modern Day Delilah.
Yeah.
But I think if Ace Frehley wrote 10 songs for Kiss and just Paul and Gene allowed it, and let's make a new Kiss album, Ace Frehley will write all the songs, and Paul will sing some, Gene will sing some, that would be a good Kiss record.
That probably would. That's a great analogy. Because Ace's last album was good. I liked it.
His 2008 record, that one with he does a cover of Fox on the Run.
Yes, yeah, Anomaly.
That's more of a Kiss record to me than say Sonic Boom.
Oh, absolutely. But
yeah, if Paul and Gene want a good Kiss record,
get Ace.
First of all, get Ace. My favorite 80s Kiss record is, Lick It Up and Creatures.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, Michael James Jackson produced those albums. Even the 4 Killer songs on Kiss Killers, Michael James Jackson. If they got him to produce Sonic Boom or Monster, they would have sounded way better.
Monster does not sound good. I have the vinyl, and I can't listen to it. I just
people talk about Revenge like it's so great, but you know what? If Revenge was recorded by Michael James Jackson, then it would have sounded way better, like Lick It Up and Creatures.
Yeah, it's funny with Revenge. I mean, it's Bob Ezrin. I like the album, I like the songs, but everybody talks about it, and I'm like, the production's okay. It's not, it
doesn't sound like Destroyer.
No, it doesn't sound like Destroyer at all. And even The Elder, The Elder there's some cool stuff on it, right? You listen to it, and it's very different, but there's some cool stuff on it.
Oh, I love The Elder. I think, if anything, they should release Elder Resurrected with it and put all of Ace's parts back in it.
That would
because
be awesome.
they stripped a lot of Ace's solos and stuff.
No wonder Ace was so mad. No wonder he crashed his car. That's crazy. Now, you had mentioned earlier to me before we started the show that the Elder in Japan is the copy to get.
Yeah, or the re-release, because the re-release
the track
puts all the songs in the proper order.
Right. Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ever come across that Japanese copy and have it for sale, let me know, because I want that.
Another thing nice about the Elder Japan is it has that full obi strip, which covers the album with the makeup picture.
That's
so
cool.
it looks a little nicer than the boring cover.
So I mean, I just bought the Japanese Creatures of the Night from you. Yeah. And, I mean, I haven't seen it yet because a buddy of mine's going to come pick it up tomorrow. But there's some Elder photos in that, I believe. Or something.
Well, the label actually has an Elder photo shot.
Yeah.
Opposed to a Creature shot.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Those Japanese copies they always sound so good. I
love Japanese records.
Yeah.
I upgraded all my Rad albums to Japan, and it's just that obi strip. It looks just so nice, especially on Kiss records. That obi strip just looks so damn nice.
I know it does. Even on CDs, it looks great too. Like it's cool.
Yeah, take a look at this. Kiss Originals 2.
Wow.
Obi strip.
That is cool, man.
Yeah,
it just makes it look, it's just that little extra, right? Makes it look a little bit more, I don't know, maybe professional, I don't know. It just looks neat.
The funny thing is, Japanese people, man, they take care of their records. I bought a few used ones just recently, and they were rentals. They had a rental sticker on them, and they are mint.
Wow. So it's funny when you mention that about people taking care of their records, because I take care of mine. I'm everything's in plastic, and I just take care of it. But my buddy, who I lived with for a year and a bit, we had a turntable out in the garage, and he had a stack of records, and every time it was like he would take the record out, he'd be done with it, and he'd just throw it down. And you hear people back in the day having parties, and they just have a stack of records that they played all night, right? And it's like, man, it killed me.
Well, if you order Japanese records from Japan, you don't even have to worry about the record not being in good shape.
That's amazing.
You pull it out, it just looks, awesome.
That's wicked. Now, as advertised, we're discussing Motley Crue's Leathur Records pressing of Too Fast for Love. For those that aren't aware, besides being one of the holy grails of vinyl collectors, there's more to this release than people know.
That's right.
The first pressing is interesting.
Well, it's black and white, and its hair ridiculous. It's airbrushed.
Did you know this? There's no sunglasses in the center on the back.
That's right, exactly.
And then it comes down to, the different pressings. Nicky's arms aren't folded.
That's right.
On the third pressing, I think, the second or third. Apparently there's two different versions of the second pressing.
Yeah, there's three Leathur. So before they made it, they were independent on their Leathur records. Yeah. And there was three presses. The third press
is Green World.
The third press looks exactly the same as the 2005 re-release.
Right.
Like the record label and everything.
Yeah. It's got the black center on the record, right? The black on the...
With the red, yeah.
With the red.
But I've always wanted one. So not too long ago, some guy in Thunder Bay was selling a third pressing Leathur for $700. Sealed. It was sealed.
No.
So I said, fuck it. I gotta have it.
Yeah.
Bought it. Got it. Mint condition. I opened it up. 40 years sealed. Opened it up. Popped it on the record player. Sounded amazing. It was worth the $700.
Oh, totally.
So,
totally. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, you just feel like, something like that. How the hell did it stay sealed for 40 years, and then it's just traveled to me, and I opened it?
Yeah.
And Yeah, it had the insert in it. It was mint.
I mean, that's something that you would love to get them to sign for you. Because you've, played it once? Have you played it more than once?
A couple times. I play my re-release more because, it's a re-release. And
yeah.
It's the same record, right? So
yeah, and see, my Canadian copy, which we'll talk about, because the Canadian copy, the Canadian Electra pressing is kind of interesting as well.
Yes, because technically, it's the fourth pressing.
That's right. Yeah.
Because when Motley Crue had to tour in '82, they needed that record out, so they couldn't get the Electra mix, so they sent up the leather mix with "Stick to Your Guns" on it.
Yeah.
And they released the leather cover and the leather mix, and then eventually they switched it to the Electra mix without "Stick to Your Guns," but they still used the extra covers they had of the leather with "Stick to Your Guns" with the songs out of order. So it's even cool to find one of those.
Yeah.
Leather jacket, the Electra mix.
And you just sold one the other day to our buddy Ken.
Yeah, but that only has the leather jacket with the "Stick to Your Guns" on it, but the record is actually the Electra mix without "Stick to Your Guns."
Yeah, it's wild.
So that must use kids back then, because they're like, the songs are out of order and we're "Stick to Your Guns."
Well, it's funny because the first tape, when I was in '85, I just got into music, right? I was like 10 years old. So, and I wrote this when I was writing for Sleaze Rocks in I did a review of Too Fast for Love, and I did the whole thing of actually putting the tape on for the first time in the confusion. I had no idea. So I get the tape for Christmas, and it's the Leather Records pressing, but it's in an Electra case with the Electra track order. So the tracks are all over the place. So
you got the reverse.
I got the reverse, yeah.
You got the leather recording, but the Electra case.
Yeah, it was messed up.
I remember I was with my grandmother, and she bought me Too Fast for Love, the tape, and it was leather. It was the Leather Records one, because "Stick to Your Guns" was on it, and the beginning, the intro to
Too Fast for Love.
No, yeah, Too Fast for Love.
When you're young and crazy, that little...
Yeah, so it's like, and then you would hear it, and you're like, where's the intro? And then... So I had that tape. I sold it, but then I just bought some tapes not too long ago for somebody, and I actually got the same tape with Leather Records, the Leather Records tape. So now I have it again.
Wow, that's cool. And my story about that is funny because there was a period in my life I was listening to, I loved Kiss and I loved Motley Crue. And then fast forward, that was grade 5. Fast forward to grade 6, and I'm like, I had a buddy who was kind of like a preppy guy and everything, and all of a sudden our musical tastes changed a little bit, and we were listening to, and I hate to admit this, we were listening to Platinum Blonde, Corey Hart, Bryan Adams. So I was like, for a brief period, I was like, you know what, I don't like this metal stuff anymore. I'm gonna get rid of this tape. So anyway, so I sold it to a guy. Little did I know, fast forward to grade 7, I'm back into the hair rock again. I'm, Cinderella, Bon Jovi, that was like 1986. Yeah. So I'm like, oh man, I wish I never sold that tape. So anyways, I said to a buddy, I was like, do you have Too Fast for Love? He's like, yeah. I was like, can I borrow it so I can record it? So I had a paper route with the Toronto Sun, and I would go out collecting and have my Walkman on, and I'd listen to it. And I'm like, I put it on, I'm like, there's something wrong with this copy. Like, what's going on here? And there's a song missing. So I took it back to him on Monday. I said, what's wrong with this tape? It doesn't sound right. It's like there's a song missing, Too Fast for Love, the intro's gone, there's no clapping on Live Wire, there's, and he's like, you had the Leather Records version. I was like, what, there's 2 versions of it? He's like, yeah. He goes, that Leather Records version is hard to find. And I'm like, oh man, I sold that to some guy. Yeah,
I got a buddy that has the, I think you said you have one too. He has the Electra first press Leather record.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's it there. Yeah,
in my opinion, that's the 4th press of Leather Records, and if the 3rd pressing goes for $700, I'd say that one at least goes for $700.
Do you know how much?
If not more, it's probably even rare. It's more rare.
Well, I will tell you how much I paid for it. $5.
That's awesome. I'm going to find one day.
About 8-9 years ago, I was in a shop in Bowmanville. They opened this new vinyl shop. So I go in, and I'm looking at vinyls, and all of a sudden I look, and there it is. And I'm like, $5. I said, these guys...
The logo on the front is smaller. So
yeah, the logo's smaller, and it's smaller. So you know right away. And I turn it around, and I'm looking at the track listing. So I pull the album out to make sure that the tracks are on there, right?
Well, first thing you look for is stick to your guns.
Yeah, exactly. So I am like, I better go pay for this and get the hell out of the store before this guy realizes what he just sold me.
That's what I would do.
I was like, it's not the greatest copy, but it still sounds good. I've cleaned it up and it sounds okay. That's why I don't play my other one, the Hippo release. Now, the Hippo release is interesting because you had posted it last week on Facebook, and there was a lot of conversation about it. Now, they weren't, which I find strange, and it coincides with the box set as well, that it was actually taken from a vinyl. It wasn't taken from the masters, that it was recorded from a vinyl.
Oh, what do you mean? They made a stamp out of one of the leather?
Yeah, because they couldn't find the masters, apparently.
Well, so they sent them to Canada.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, I was thinking about that yesterday. I'm like, okay, Elektra had those masters because they would have needed them, right? So they probably are here in Canada somewhere.
Oh, probably. I would assume that's what they probably did, was send the masters up and
Warner.
But another interesting thing I found out about the 2005 re-release. Well, there's only 5,000 copies made, and they're all gold stamped. Even the 7-inch inside has a gold stamp. But there's a few of them that don't have the stamps. And I got a buddy that has no stamp on the vinyl and no stamp on the 7-inch. So did they make more than 5,000 and they didn't tell us, or did they miss a few gold stamps? You know what I mean?
That's amazing. See, like I said, I've never played it. I think I've opened it. So the single that's in it for Stick to Your Guns and Toast of the Town, I actually have 2 copies. I bought the first copy when it came out from the label. And that's the copy I play. And then I have the other one that came with Too Fast for Love that I've never played. And I also heard a rumor that those versions aren't the right versions that appeared on the single.
What do you mean? Like it was still Toast of the Town and Stick to Your Guns?
Yeah, but somebody had posted something that different recordings, that they put on. That they had recorded a couple versions of it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But that may not be true, right? I think that's where this whole thing with that album and those singles, because those singles were released and just thrown out. Vince used to throw them off the stage, right?
Yeah. So
I've never seen an original of the single. I don't know if you have.
No. But, I got what I want. I wouldn't mind having a first and second pressing, too.
I know.
But I'm not going to spend $5,000 on the first press.
No, for me, I'd really love the first pressing because there's only 900 copies, but what are the odds? And the price tag is, like you said, is going to be astronomical.
Yeah, well, you see them on eBay and they're $5,000. Like 700, that's the most I've ever spent on a record, next to the Karabi album, which is 400.
400, yeah.
And I bought Danzig's first album on the eBay for, about 5 years ago. It was probably just over 100.
Wow.
And Kiss Originals, too. There's a few, Trickster. Trickster's hard to get. I paid $100 for that. There's just some records you just got to have, and you got to pay the price.
And the thing is, like I told you, and I've said many times on my show about being robbed, I had Rat Detonator on vinyl, and that was ripped off. And
I need that.
Pardon me?
I need that album. I don't have it.
So now going on Discogs, I'm going to have to pay with shipping $160.
If you're lucky.
If I'm lucky. I know. And that's the part that burns my ass. It's like some asshole came into my house and had no idea how much these meant to me and stole my... it infuriates you.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it's just, like you're like, and then trying to replace stuff. Now, I've replaced a good portion of it. Like, we're talking about what stuff costs you. That Badlands, the first Badlands album, that cost me over $100 to replace.
I got that record for $1.
Yeah.
And I sold it. So, because I'm not a big Badlands fan, but now I wish I kept it, because last summer I came into somebody selling 300 records. So they were mostly hair metal.
Yeah.
300 records for $300. This guy thought records were only worth $1. So his friend passed away, and he got them in the will.
Yeah.
This thing was a gold mine. Even if I sold each record for $20, that's $6,000 right there. And I kept what did I keep? Warrant's first album, Mr. Big. There was everything.
Mr. Big?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff. I had Winger's first album.
Yeah.
Tora. But a lot of it I had, like LA Guns, Faster Pussycat. So I sold all of them. But for $1 a piece, like I paid $1 for Badlands, and I think I only sold it for $40.
Wow.
No, it's a good album. It's just
it's different. It's a different, especially for Jake, it was different going from Ozzy to Badlands. I wasn't sure about it at first, but I loved Dreams in the Dark. I love that song. And I love Highwire. The rest of it, I think, is decent, but I think those two songs are my favorite on that album.
Well, if I find another copy, I'm going to keep it, but
yeah.
I should have kept that one, but oh well.
And that LA Guns album, that first one, is expensive.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's expensive now. I've been trying to find it, because I had the first two, Cocked and Loaded and LA Guns, signed by Tracy Guns.
Wow.
And those got stolen as well. And that Babylon AD album, signed by the whole band, which is no more, like the original band's broken up again.
Yeah, the first LA Guns, that's a great album. I bought that when it came out.
Me too.
I like it because it has that, it's a little bit punk.
Yeah.
Just like Too Fast for Love, it has that
punk feel to it. I agree with you.
In LA Guns' first album, definitely has a punk feel. Cocked and Loaded, no. And I mean, LA Guns kind of coincided with Guns N' Roses. That had Appetite for Destruction, had that punk feel. So those two kind of, they were like an underground thing. And Faster Pussycat, their first album. It's funny that all these bands' second albums got away from that punk feel, right? Yeah, like even Cinderella. The first Cinderella album's awesome because it's straight ahead rock. And then the second album, a little more country. Third album, even a little more country.
Yeah.
But that first album is great. It's just straight ahead.
It's in your face, like those songs, like, of course we know the singles, but like songs like Hell on Wheels.
Yeah.
And Once Around the Ride and Nothing for Nothing. Like they were just, that album from front to back was just killer, right?
And then you got Brittany Fox, which is the offshoot of Cinderella, but they're great. I saw them live open up for Alice Cooper and Great White.
Really?
And they were awesome. The Boys in Heat tour.
Yeah.
Like, two great albums. The drums on the albums sound amazing, especially on that second album.
They do. I love it. I mean, In Motion, as soon as that song comes on, you hear those drums, Johnny D's drums, and you're like, wow, those are tight.
Oh yeah, they sound amazing. They were awesome live too. I turned into a Brittany Fox fan after, and this was 1990 on the Alice Cooper Trash Tour.
Wow.
And Brittany Fox became my favorite part of the show.
And I mean, their third album is another holy grail that is hard to find on vinyl. With a different singer, with Tommy Paris on vocals, Bite Down Hard.
Yeah. So that's why I wasn't really interested in the third album, but I bought the Black Eyed Susan album. Yeah, and I have that. I just got that on vinyl and love it. Yeah. It's funny because I was listening to that album on MP3s on Amazon, and I'm like, I can't get into this. So then I threw that vinyl on, and I was like, it just opened up. This is a totally different album, and loved it. It's weird, eh? Yeah, another good band that I've seen live with Extreme, Saigon Kick. Yes. And they just released
The Lizard?
The first album.
Oh.
No, they pre-released the first album. It's already sold out. I think there was only 1,000 copies. I actually have an original copy, so I didn't need to buy it.
Wow.
But this company that did the first album is going to be doing the Lizard. So I'm waiting for that because I got to have the Lizard on
That's
vinyl.
cool. That's a great album. And the Lizard tour was where the original bass player left and Chris McLarnon came on, I believe.
That's right.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, they're kind of like a forgotten band. And Jason Baylor's still out. He's still playing. I just saw something with him recently.
So there's certain bands like Enough's Enough. If you listen to that first album, I got on vinyl, they just re-released it.
Yeah.
It just has a little bit of a newer alternative sound in the 90s. And the funny thing is, some of these hair bands almost could have been alternative. If you listen to Enough Is Enough, Love Hate's first album, Blackout in the Red Room,
yep.
That's fully alternative, but it got categorized as hair band. And Saigon Kick songs totally sounded, they could have went right with Alice in Chains.
And I agree with that. And it's funny, I just had Kill for Thrills first album on, and it's in the same vein. You could swear it's an alternative album. It does not sound like a hair rock album at all.
Yeah, like if I never knew who Enough's Enough was, and I listened to that album, I would think they would maybe be on tour with the Lemonheads or something. But it's a good album. Like
it's a great album. I have Strength on vinyl.
It doesn't have that cock rock sound like their stuff.
And Donnie, I mean, I've had Donnie on my show 3 times, and he, he calls himself the king of power pop, more or less, self-proclaimed. But he's a great guy. But listening to him talk about Enough's Enough, they never wanted to be a hair band. They just wanted to be a good rock band that played power pop, more or less. You know what I mean? But they got categorized into that.
Yeah.
Now,
I saw Love Hate in 1990 in Germany, and they were amazing live. Another band I saw that's good, my favorite album from 1990, Johnny Crash.
I have it on vinyl.
Not Johnny Cash.
Johnny Crash, Neighborhood Threat.
They were the Airborne before Airborne.
They are awesome.
That album, if you want one good album to listen to from start to finish, Johnny Crash, Neighborhood Threat.
Yeah.
And they
like a piano.
They kicked ass live. It was just that AC/DC sound, it just went right through you.
They're a great band. I mean, I have, like I said, I have a vinyl copy of that. The vinyl's fine. The cover I got it on eBay all those years ago when stuff was cheap. And the cover's not in the best of shape, but the vinyl's in great shape. And I love that album. And their second album, which was re-released on Sun City Records, is phenomenal as well.
Well, yeah, it's half of it's phenomenal, I think. I don't like the fact that Matt Soer's playing drums, Dizzy Ree's playing keyboards. It didn't have as much as the first album did with that drummer, man. It's that he had that same Steven Adler kind of feel. It's just punky.
True. That's a good point.
Even his nickname was Punky.
That's right. What was the one song though about the bitch?
It's the bitch.
It's a bitch?
No, Ditch the Bitch.
Ditch the Bitch. Yeah, I really like that song.
Oh, it's an awesome song.
That's a great song.
Yeah. I think that album didn't come out because Axl stopped it, because Matt Sorum was playing drums.
Matt Sorum was on it. Yeah.
And Dizzy Reed. Yeah.
That's kind of strange, That Axl, I mean, he had that much... I guess he's power, right? To say, oh no, that's not coming out. And if you remember, Matt wasn't allowed to tour with Slash a Snake Pit either.
Mm-hmm.
Which was strange.
Yeah, exactly.
Such a weird thing. Another one that I have, the first 2 Tangiers. I don't know if you ever listened to those guys.
No, I haven't, but I've heard of them.
2 different singers on each album. But the second album, which didn't really do that well, is called Stranded. It sounds phenomenal. The vinyl sounds great. It's that same type of vibe, like the rock and roll, hard rock vibe, not kind of like a metal album. They were kind of that band as well. And
Nice.
Jet Boy as well.
Oh yeah, Jet Boy. Yeah.
I have both of those on vinyl.
Yeah, Babylon AD. That was Bang Goes the Bells, right?
Bang Goes the Bells and Hammer Swings Down. Kid Goes Wild.
One record that's really good is the first Danzig record. Like if you like the Cult Electric,
yeah,
then
I'm gonna have to get that.
Rick Rubin produced it, and he just gives it that raw. Like I said, it's just like the Cult Electric. It just has that raw guitar sound.
Yeah, that was John Christ, right? On guitar? Yeah. I'll have to check that out. You know what? Mother's on that though, right?
Mother's on. Yeah. Actually, James Hetfield sings backup on 2 songs.
Really? That's
uncredited. Cool. Yeah.
I saw
that's a Holy Grail album.
It's hard to find.
Whenever you go to a record show,
yeah,
someone's always asking for Danzig.
Really?
And it's like, no. And the funny thing is, I went to the last record show I went to. I went, hey, you got any Danzig? And the guy's like, no. And then some other guy came up beside me and asked the same question. I was like,
wow. Well, it's kind of like, Rick Rubin did the Four Horsemen, the first album.
That's another one. So the Four Horsemen, the first Danzig record, and the Cult Electric. Yeah. You listen to the 3 albums, you can tell Rick Rubin did all 3.
I know, they're so raw. So the Four Horsemen re-released that on their website.
Yeah, but I have the original copy.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
That's cool. I have the reissue. It's got the EP in it as well.
Yeah, my brother bought the reissue.
Yeah, I like it. My name's actually in it.
Same with my brother's, but it's on a separate sheet or something.
It's on a separate sheet, yeah. Yeah, it kind of says Tyson Bryden and someone else from Sleaze Rocks, which was cool.
Yeah, no, I had to have the original. I bought it from the UK, I think.
I don't blame you. I might have to hunt that down as well myself.
That's at least $100 or more.
Is it? Well, that makes sense, right? Because.
But that Four Horsemen record, when that came out, that's all I listened to for like a year was that tape over and over again.
It was so good. It was such a good.
It still is a good album.
Yeah, it's kind of like I remember when Jackal came out, and they were kind of. I don't even know how to term them. They were kind of that blues, AC/DC type of, thing. A little bit too novelty, though.
Well, they were like that album. I had that re-release, but
I do too.
Jackal coming out at the time when alternative just took over.
Yeah.
Like they're lucky they had that Lumberjack song because that's the song that made them big, right?
Yeah, and that's my least favorite.
But really, that during an alternative period with Nirvana and all that, the Lumberjack song was the one that got played at the bars just because people loved the chainsaw thing.
Yeah, I know, and they dug it, right? And but it had such great I Stand Alone, Down on Me, and Back Off Brother was my favorite tune. I loved that song.
Oh, it's a great album.
It is.
Another thing I read is, actually, ironically, Vicky James Wright from Johnny Crash, the singer, he actually co-wrote some Airborne songs.
Oh.
So it's kind of weird because if that's true, then it's almost like, hey, we didn't make it with that AC/DC sound. I'll help you guys
with it.
Yeah. And actually, Vicky James Wright was in Tokyo Blade.
Tokyo Blade, yeah.
The album with him on it is amazing. I have that on vinyl. His singing is just amazing.
I've never heard it. Someone mentioned it to me and said how good it was, and I was like, yeah, I got to check that out. And you have it on vinyl. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So let's talk about you musically. Let's talk about your band, Revmatic. Tell me a bit about the band, all the pertinent details, when, where, how, and who, all those type of things.
Well, me and the bass player, Keith, we went to high school. So we've been playing off and on since high school. And now we're old.
Yeah.
But then my drummer, Rob, he came in just after high school. Like, we had different bands, but Revmatic basically started 20 years ago. And now, of course, we don't do as much as we used to, but, 10 years ago we were doing stuff. But we still do it. We still record, but musically, I'm the singer, and I play guitar, lead guitar. And for 4 members, hard rock, influences, Hit, Kiss, Guns N' Roses, Metallica. It's fun. I actually released, I got some of my CDs done on vinyl out of Toronto. Yeah.
Cool.
There's this girl that does one-offs, so you can just order like 1, 2, 3, or 4 of your record. You send her the CD and the artwork, and it's only about $50 a record, roughly. I guess I'll plug her, Red Spade Records. She did a good job. I did a few projects with her.
Cool. So I could buy one. So I could buy one from you.
I don't have it. I got 4 of each, and I actually got rid of all of them.
Damn. I like the album a lot.
If you're an independent band and you just need 4 or 5 records, it's an easy way to get your stuff on vinyl, and it's pretty cool.
Well, let's queue up a track and play it.
All right.
I think we'll go with "She's a Drug." Really heavy groove, man. Like, great song. What can you say about this one?
Well, that's from her 2008 release album called "Cold Blooded Demon." And, She's a Drug. It's a good rockin' tune.
All right, cool. So here it is. This is Revmatic with "She's a Drug." Man, it's Saturday morning, and that just hit my neighbors right between the eyes. I had that fucker cranked. The windows are wide open. It's sunny out. They're like, "What the hell's going on?" That's a killer tune, man. That's so good.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks.
So, is there a website for the band? Is there anything that if people hear that song and go, "Oh man, I want to hear more of that"?
Oh yeah, you can go to our Facebook page, just search Revmatic, or I think we have our website still, revmatic.com. We got stuff on iTunes, Spotify, the usuals.
That's cool. Now,
I still have CDs, but nobody buys CDs anymore.
I might buy one. Is it on CD? Oh, that's cool.
I'll send you one for free.
All right, thank you. We got to play another song if that's okay with you. We have to.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So you kind of chose the ones that you thought would be good for the show. So this is "Feel It Within." I love this track, and it's funny because the vocal kind of reminds me of Fuel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which I loved that band when they came out.
I could have had a Fuel influence. You never know.
Yeah.
They're a good band.
Well, let's try that. Again, this is Revmatic with "Feel It Within." Oh man, I have a feeling the cops might be showing up this morning. My sub was pounding. It was just pounding, so hopefully no one called the cops.
Hey, It's only rock and roll.
That's right, exactly. So, no, that's a killer song too. So if you like that, I mean, if you're, check out Revmatic. That's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, we're still kicking.
You guys are still kicking. So if you're looking for the CD, as Nathan still has copies. So.
Or just go to iTunes.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Spotify, or
Yeah. Well, man, that was a lot of fun, and I got to thank you for coming on. And you know what? We've got to do this again because, I mean, you seem to know, what's going on in the vinyl world. So
yeah, we could talk about a lot of vinyl.
Yeah, which is good. So, anyways, I like I said, I want to thank you. Thanks for being the first show of nonstop vinyl rock talk.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So
great idea.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I've got another guest lined up for the next episode. He's a radio personality down in Hamilton or Niagara. So
Niagara, that's where Sven Galley are. They need to put their first album on vinyl.
Yes, and you and I discussed that.
Purple vinyl would be perfect.
Purple vinyl would be great, and you and I discussed that because I just interviewed them, and he's like, the first question I would have asked was, when's that coming on vinyl? And I totally slipped my mind. So
I'll be the first one to buy it.
I will be second.
That album, I must say, Canadian-wise, best sounding album in my opinion for a Canadian hard rock band. Sure, we have all the Rush and all that stuff, Triumph.
Yeah.
But Ben Galley, that album just sounds so killer.
It does. I agree. It's
the Canadian Slave to the Grind.
It totally is. And I mean,
even my kids, they're like, are you listening to Skid Row? No, it's Sven Galley.
That's awesome. And see, I told Dave the singer, I said to him, I didn't get that. I didn't hear that Skid Row thing. And he's like, oh, neither did I. And I mean, I guess now that we talk about it, I guess it kind of does.
I never heard that. I never thought that back then too. But now that I listen to the album, it does have a Slave to the Grind kind of feel. Yeah,
it does. And it's, Skid Row was big then. That Slave to the Grind album was huge.
Oh, yeah. You got to remember Skid Row is 1/5 Canadian.
That's right. Yeah, from Peterborough, Sebastian. Yep. That's right. And, I'm, as well as a Sven Galley fan, I'm a Slick Toxic fan as well. And my hope is that one day we will see. Apparently, the album Doing the Nasty is going to be going to iTunes soon.
That'd be good.
Which is good. It hasn't been. The only one available has been Irrelevant with the other cover, with the new cover, and I don't know why they put the old logo on that one because I thought the Irrelevant logo was better. But that's not my choice. But Doing the Nasty will be coming to streaming sites soon. So
sweet.
So I don't know if it'll ever see the light of day for vinyl, but you never know.
You never know.
If Tough can put out vinyl, I'm sure Slick Toxic could find a vinyl. You never know.
I've seen those guys live back in, it would have been 93 or 94.
Yeah.
They were pretty good. It wasn't that busy, though, at the bar, but that's because, Nirvana and Soundgarden, all that stuff was out, but they still put on a good show. I
saw them around that time, but it was at RPM, so it was a Toronto show, so it was pretty, it was pretty packed.
That's good.
Yeah, which was good. It
depends on the area, right?
Yeah, it does. And I felt bad for a lot of those bands because you're like, these guys are so good. Why are people not getting this anymore? You know what I mean? It was like, yeah. And it's funny that being a good musician back then, it was like, oh no, you're too good. Don't be good. Don't be a good musician.
I know. Even Betancourt, it was all about the solos, and then he tried to do
the Nuno album.
Solo albums, and then he was trying not to play solos.
Yeah.
A lot of bands were actually trying not to play solos.
I know, which is crazy to me.
The solos weren't cool anymore.
Yeah, at least it came back. At least it's come back full circle, and people...
Oh, yeah, you know what? The hair metal and hair stuff started coming back, even in the late 90s, I'd say.
Yeah.
It started creeping back.
Yeah.
And now you look back on it, it's all music anyway. Nirvana and Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, it all fits in with all the other stuff.
And you know what? That's a funny conversation to me. Is that Soundgarden and Alice in Chains being lumped with Nirvana, because those Soundgarden and Alice in Chains didn't sound anything like Nirvana.
Yeah, the fun thing is, Alice in Chains were a hair band.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, you'd see them on the Power Hour. Right? Yeah. I remember seeing Soundgarden on the Power Hour too, when they on their first album. Was it Loud Love was the song or something like that?
Yep.
So, anyways, Nathan, thanks again, and we have to do it again.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Okay, man. Have a great day.
You too, man.
Okay. Bye.